How would you compare men in California to Canada?
Well, I would have to say that the men, it's really hard, with respect to meeting men, it's really hard to meet men out here. Do you know, I mean, this is such a populated city, but I think that it's probably the loneliest city because there's just so many places that you would think that you could be able to meet somebody that you'd like to spend time with and get to know, but when you go there, they're just overpopulated and there's so many people there, but there's not anyone that, I guess the situation is that so that it's not a good situation or an accurate, I don't know what to.
The atmosphere.
The atmosphere is not so that you would find somebody that you would want to spend time with or that you would be able to get to know them, do you know? Whereas in Canada, where I grew up, it's a smaller town, so there's, you know, little bars where you would go and just kind of hang out, or the school that I went to was much smaller, and I guess with a smaller atmosphere, you get to know people a little bit better because it's not like there's as many, do you know what I mean? And so it's on a smaller scale, and I think that helps in terms of here is just so many people, where do you start, you know? And can you trust them? That's a big factor here too. You know, in a small town, you pretty much know what the person's like, you know their family, so you know that everything's probably gonna be okay. But here you don't know what the hell you're getting into and where this person's been, or, you know, so on and so forth. So it's really hard, really hard.
What do you look for in a man? What are the qualities?
I look for passion, you know, and I don't mean to sound like voodoo or anything, but if a man has got passion for what he believes in and what he wants, and I think that any other qualities, the qualities that I look for, would fall into place. Hence, determination and dedication, discipline, a love for what you want, what you're trying to do, your goals, things like that. If they've got passion for what they truly believe in, then I think that all of the other characteristics that I look for in a man in a relationship will fall in, will be there because of that overriding passion.
What do you and your female friends say about men when you're all alone that you can tell us? What goes on in the ladies' room when you talk about men?
You know, I don't think we're very derogatory towards men. Quite the contrary. Most of my friends, women friends, have had good experiences with men. And sure, they've had, you know, everyone's had little problems, little, you know, situations that haven't been pleasant. But overall, I mean, we're very complimentary towards men. And the men that I know are, you know, very sincere, very respectable. I enjoy being in their company. Of course, we're just friends. There's not like, you know, new relationships going on. That might be a little different, but we're very, you know, we speak about what we did. You know, if one of my friends went out, you know, with somebody on a date or something, she would talk about how that went and whatnot. It's you know, very complimentary. I really don't have any bad things to say about men. On a whole, overall, generally, I, you know, get along with them quite well, probably even better than women. So.
Why is that?
You know, I don't know. I was speaking with a couple friends last night, male, and they were saying that they get along with women better than men with respect to friendships. And I was saying that most of my friends are men. And I don't know, maybe friends, not real, you know, do you know what I mean? Like there's a big difference with respect to friends and then something more than platonic. I don't know, I guess I can just relate to men better as friends, and then hence you would think that I'd be able to relate to them in relationships, but that usually isn't quite often the case.
What advice would you give men on how they could be more successful with women?
This is probably said so often, but I would just say truly be yourself. Do you know? I mean, because people like to kind of portray something that they aren't when they first meet people, you know, and sooner or later, if you spend more time with them, you're going to find out the truth. You're going to find out who you really are. And if you know that from the start, then it probably would help to avoid a lot of problems that would be, you know, that would happen in the future. I would just say, you know, be yourself, be open, don't be afraid to say what you're thinking, you know?
What are some do's and don'ts you'd give a man who wanted to get to know you better?
Be polite. That's something that I look for. A man who's very, well-mannered and very polite. Someone who's not going to, start burping or something at the table, kind of thing. Let's see. But it's not like the man has to open the door for you all the time or carry your, your luggage or your books or something. That's whatever. Let's see. Do be honest. Very honest. Honest to a point of maybe being even, blunt and shockingly honest. Don't be late. Man, what a question. Can we come back to that question?
Sure, no problem. How important do you think is a man's earning potential? Either for you and say for your other females that you talk to.
Do you mean
how much money he will probably make? Not just
I
right
really
now.
don't think that that's important. I think that if you're making enough money to sustain the lifestyle that you would like to lead, then that is fine. And I very, very strongly believe in, making my own being able to support myself financially with no help from anybody else. And I wouldn't expect that, nor would I expect him to think that I would help him out, especially in the earlier stages in a relationship. And I think that before I would ever even think of marriage, I would have to be financially secure on my own, because I wouldn't want to have to depend on him or stay with him just for the money aspect.
Change angles a little bit. Men seem preoccupied with sex. Is there a way that they can have more of that without hurting women emotionally, such as love them and leave them?
That was something else we were talking about. I was talking with my friends, these two guys, and they were saying that they think that sex is an inherent need for men, but for women, it's not something that women need. I don't know. If you're gonna have sex with somebody, obviously there's got to be two people. So, that question is something that I don't know if I have an answer for. I don't. I think there are some men who will sleep with as many women as they can, but then there are other men who would only sleep with women because they truly do care for them and love them.
If a man has a one-night stand, or let me rephrase it, I think most women want sex within the context of a relationship.
Correct.
So Joe Stud, who has been with, say, 83 women, many of them once or twice, and then moved on. What's he doing to women? Or what happens to a woman when she expects something, hopes for something? You've heard of the old expression, men give love to get sex, women give sex to get love. The woman who gives sex to get love and then doesn't get it, he moves on.
Right. Well, I think that there are some women who can, who want just that. They just want to sleep with men too. So that's, there's that kind of category of women, and then there are the women who truly want love out of this sexual relationship. And if they don't get it, I just think that you have to go into things with no expectations, with thinking about nothing with respect to the outcome. Do you know? Because if you go in thinking, oh my goodness, I want to have a long-term relationship, I want, this person to spend the rest of my life with this person, chances are that's not going to happen. And if you expect that, the only thing that's going to happen is you're going to be disappointed. If you go into something with no expectations,